Hey, what's going on YouTube? Chuckles again with another Diablo 3 video. Again with another special guest from my real life friend powered by Fatal. You're going to see him a lot on my channel. We hang out quite a bit in real life and such, so I'm on his wizard at the moment, which he's aptly named Mage, which I thought was kind of funny. So this is his Tal'Rasha build, Elemental Exposure. I found it to be quite interesting and figured I'd do a video on it. So let's jump right into the skills he's using and then the gear, and I'll explain to you the strategy behind it. So skills, on his first left mouse click here, he's using Arcane Torrent with Cascade. So what Cascade does is basically he uses it as a room clearer. Excuse me. Enemies hit by Arcane Torrent have a close to 13% chance to fire a new missile, doing the damage as arcane. So more arcane damage coming out, and I'll explain to you why that's important in a minute. Next, he uses Blizzard with Snowbound, and all Snowbound does is it just reduces the cost of arcane power for Blizzard, which is always good. And then on his number 1 key, he's using Storm Armor, which is a lightning ability. So far we have Arcane, Cold, and now we have Lightning. So bathe yourself in electrical energy, periodically shocking all nearby enemies for 147% weapon damage as Lightning. And then the Power of the Storm rune for it lets it reduces the arcane power cost of all your skills by 3 while this is active. So again, more arcane power reduction, just awesome to take. Next, we have our first fire skill, which is Magic Weapon Ignite. Imbue your weapon with magical energy, granting it 10% increased damage. Excuse me again. So basically what that's going to do is it's going to give you a passive 10% damage increase, which is always good, and all of your attacks count as fire as well, dealing 86% weapon damage as fire as a dot for 3 seconds. So now we're up to Arcane, Cold, Lightning, and Fire, which is awesome. Next, we're rolling with Familiar on his 3rd key, so the first 3 abilities are buffs to the character. So what the Cannoneer is going to do is the Familiar's projectile explode on impact, dealing 240% weapon damage as arcane within 6 yards. So more arcane damage, good for the Elemental Exposure build. Next, on his 4 key, he's using Black Hole with Spell Steal. This is personal preference ability. This can be switched out. He prefers it because you get to stand still while casting it, but you could also go with something like Teleport. That's also a very popular choice in this. But me, myself, I also prefer Black Hole right here because it also mobs them up quite well. So first passive, Elemental Exposure. This is where the build shines. This is the main thing. So damaging enemies with Arcane, Cold, Fire, or Lightning will cause them to take 5% more damage from all sources for 5 seconds, and it stacks 4 times. So if you've ever read the Tal'Rasha's build, let's go ahead and look at the Tal'Rasha's set. So the 2-piece set, Cold skills deal 5% more, Fire, Lightning, and Arcane all deal 5% more. 3-piece set, it's okay, you get the all resist, but what you're really interested in is the 4-piece set. Damaging enemies with Arcane, Cold, Fire, or Lightning will cause a meteor of the same damage type to fall from the sky. There's an 8-second cooldown internally for each damage type. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to hit them with 1 Arcane spell, 1 Cold spell, 1 Fire spell, and then 1 Lightning spell, and then rinse repeat. So that's the way that kind of works. Jumping back to the passives, we have Dominance next, which is just for toughness abilities. It gives you a shield that absorbs like close to 12.5 thousand damage for 3 seconds and can stack up to 10 times, which is just awesome. More survivability and higher torments, so on and so forth. Next, we roll with Astral Presence. So it increases your arcane power because you'll always be draining it, and it gives you a little bit of regeneration per second. So this one, Unwavering Will, this is kind of like another personal preference passive. We do enjoy the armor, the boost, the all resist boost, and the damage boost, but you could also switch this out with Blur if that's what you're into, just for the static damage reduction if you're in, T5, T6, so on and so forth. So again, back to the gear, you're going to want to stack as much like elemental damage percentage increase as you possibly can. So on the gloves, we're rolling with Fire. On the necklace, we're rolling with Arcane, and same with the bracers. If you notice, he's also using the Triumvirate, which increases Fire, Lightning, and Arcane, which is an amazing offhand when you're using this build. Jumping right into the Paragons, in his core, he uses 14.5% in movement speed in order to hit the 25% cap, and then the rest goes straight into Intelligence. Vitality would also be a good pick, but he's got 319,000 HP, which is decent enough because the Intelligent gives you not only damage, but all resist as well. Jumping over to the offensive tab, we're going with critical hit damage because if you look at the gear itself and the details pane, Critical hit chance, he's already above the 50% mark, so at 55% he can afford to put it into critical hit damage as opposed to the critical hit chance, and then the rest of it just dumps right into there as well. So for the defensive tab, all 50 points into all resist in order to survive longer. It's your best toughness perk, bar none. Next, life regeneration. Health globes are few and far between, so you got to get topped off as best you can. And in utility, we're going with resource cost reduction. Again, you use a lot of arcane power with this build. There's actually not on the skill sets, if you look, there's not a arcane power regenerator or a signature spell. So reducing the cost that it takes to cast the spells is just always good. With the offset points, you're going to want to throw them into life on hit in order to top yourself off. So the premise of the build is you're going to want to buff yourself with your storm armor, and then your magic weapon and your familiar, and that will give you fire, lightning, and arcane. And then you run around and basically you cast blizzard for your last elemental, for the elemental exposure itself to proc. So you mob them up with using your spell steal, you rain blizzard on top of them, and then once they start, the meteors from the Tal'Rasha set starts falling in on their heads, you just arcane torrent until basically they're dead. So as always, I will show you a little bit of gameplay in Torment 1 with this build. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.